London, 1892. The gas lamps flicker in the marble hall of Varner & Company as the city outside trembles beneath the weight of rain. A single vault hums with secrets too heavy for daylight. Ilias' hands shake as he breaks the wax seal on a document older than his name. It bears the insignia of 12 entwined serpents, the mark of the circle. A forbidden whisper fills the air like a breath from the dead. Wars financed before they began, kings bought before they ruled. His father's name is there, written in ink that will never fade. And in that moment Elias understands. The gold that built their fortune was mixed with blood. The question claws through the silence. What if history itself was bought and sold? And what price must truth pay to be free? The storm outside seems to answer the tremor in Elias's heart. Every drop against the window feels like a warning tapped by unseen hands. He hides the ledger beneath his coat, stepping into the alley where London's breath reeks of coal and deceit. A whisper trails him, not of voices, but of paper shifting within the pages, alive with the weight of confession. Somewhere beyond the fog, a carriage wheel shrieks, a match flares, and the shadow of pursuit awakens. If secrets have a price, he's just paid the first coin. In a dim cafe by the Seine, a letter waits for no name. Lucienne sits alone, fingers tracing invisible circles around a cup gone cold. She has read the news from London. A vault breached, a clerk vanished, a silence to deliberate. Her orders are clear: retrieve the ledger or destroy the man who carries it. Yet something in the lines of ink, in the way the rain mirrors her thoughts, tells her this mission is no longer about duty, but about conscience. And conscience in her world is the most dangerous currency of all. Morning breaks pale over the Varn estate. Elias confronts his father across a breakfast untouched, the ticking clock louder than truth. Words crash like waves unspoken, each question met with stillness, each accusation swallowed by pride. Friedrich's eyes reveal nothing. Yet in their depth lies a wound carved by choices long past. The ledger burns between them without flame, a ghost that neither dares to name. Sometimes the greatest lie is the silence between a father and a son. That night, the tunnels beneath London breathe again. Elias descends through dripping stone corridors where old coins echo against the dark. He follows the scent of wax and iron to a door marked with 12 serpent heads. Voices murmur beyond, a council gathering where nations are bought like cattle. His heartbeat merges with the rhythm of their chants. The truth he sought is no longer hidden. It waits for him to join or to die. And in the silence between heartbeats, he realizes the circle has already seen him coming. The dawn after betrayal always feels too clean. Elias wakes in a rented room above a clockmaker's shop, the ledger hidden beneath floorboards. The city hums as if unaware of its own rot. A knock at the door. No name, only a folded note slipped beneath it. Inside, one sentence written in French: "Not all shadows wish you dead." He senses her. The woman from the mirror. Perhaps the only person who knows what he now knows, or the one sent to end him. The game has begun, and the pieces move in silence. Paris. Smoke, perfume, and secrets. The train station is a cathedral of motion. The perfect place to vanish or to find those who wish to remain unseen. Lucienne watches the passengers drift past like ghosts. Her orders burn in her pocket, sealed with wax. She feels his presence before she sees him. A quiet man with green eyes, and a coat still damp from London rain. Between them passes a single glance heavy with recognition, as though fate itself paused to hold its breath. They meet in a quiet corner of a cafe beneath the shadow of the Louvre. The air is rich with tobacco and secrets. Lucienne speaks in half-truths, testing him, tasting his words like fine wine. He tells her what he found. The names, the wars, the circle. She listens, her pulse unspoken beneath calm breath. When she finally leans close, her voice trembles not with fear but with warning. They own everything, even silence. In that moment, trust becomes the most dangerous thing either of them could offer. Far below the streets of Vienna, 12 voices rise as one. The circle gathers, faceless in candlelight, their words measured, their decisions final. Lord Alistair Crone presides like a priest of power, his hand resting upon the serpent seal. They speak of nations as others speak of markets, their laughter echoing through the stone. A vote is cast. A war will begin. And somewhere in the silence between agreements, the faintest whisper of dissent dares to breathe. Night drapes itself over Paris like a secret unspoken. Elias and Lucien walk along the Seine, the city's lights trembling on the water's surface. They speak little. Their footsteps echo with choices not yet made. In his coat pocket lies the ledger, in hers, a gun. Trust and betrayal walk side by side, knowing one cannot exist without the other. When she finally whispers his name, it sounds less like affection and more like a warning wrapped in love. The circle is already moving. In the halls of governments and banks, peace is not written in treaties but in numbers. Elias reads the new agreements. Loans to both sides, profit guaranteed whether blood is shed or not. His mind reels at the perfection of it. War without loss, victory without cause. The circle has turned destruction into arithmetic. He realizes then that gold can be cleaner than conscience, and that perhaps peace itself has always been the most profitable illusion of all. Vienna hosts the grand masquerade of diplomacy. Beneath chandeliers, nations sell their souls wrapped in velvet and champagne. Lucien moves through the crowd, a phantom in emerald silk, her eyes searching for Elias. Behind laughter and music lies the true commerce of the evening. Alliances bartered, wars rehearsed, futures mortgaged. Masks glitter, truth hides behind lace. In that room, power feels eternal, and morality, a currency long devalued. In a forgotten chapel on the city's edge, Elias burns the first page. Ink melts like blood under flame. Each name that disappears feels like a prayer, not of forgiveness, but of rebellion. He knows the circle will come. He knows destruction will follow. But for one breath he lets the ashes rise, believing that perhaps if history burns, truth might finally see the light. The peace they built was never peace, only profit measured in graves. Friedrich Warn summons his son to his office. No guards, no witnesses, just the slow ticking of a clock between them. He does not deny the truth. He explains it. The wars fed nations, the debts rebuilt them. The gold preserved order. Without us, he says, there would be only chaos. Elias listens, broken between rage and pity. Perhaps monsters are born not from greed, but from belief. The belief that evil can serve the greater good. Night returns to Paris, but peace does not follow. Lucien walks alone through streets, slick with rain, the echo of boots behind her growing closer. A messenger passes her an envelope sealed in black. A declaration of war. She stops beneath a flickering lamp, tears merging with rain. Somewhere, Elias will learn the same truth. The war has already begun, and both sides are funded by the same hand. The circle has completed its masterpiece, destruction disguised as deliverance. A crimson envelope slides beneath Elias' door, sealed with wax, marked by the serpent insignia. Inside, an invitation to celebrate the peace that ends all wars. He knows the handwriting, his father's. The circle calls their followers to Vienna, to dance upon the graves they financed. Elias's pulse steadies. If this is a celebration, it will end in revelation. He will go, not as a guest, but as a witness. And if the truth must bleed, then so be it. Vienna glitters like a diamond about to crack. Beneath chandeliers and the swell of violins, the world's most powerful smile behind porcelain masks. Elia slips among them, anonymous in his black suit and silver half-mask. Across the hall, Lucien moves like a shadow wrapped in emerald silk, her gaze finding his through mirrors and smoke. For one fleeting dance, truth hides behind beauty, and as their hands touch, the circle watches, amused that even rebellion can look elegant. Behind the music, beneath the scent of roses and wine, waits the sound of fate, the click of a revolver's hammer. Lucienne stands in the corridor outside the ballroom, her breath trembling. She was sent to kill him. She knows this moment was always coming. But when Elias appears, unarmed and unafraid, she realizes the impossible. She cannot. Love has made her disloyal, and in this world, disloyalty is death. She lowers the gun. Somewhere behind the walls, the circle smiles. The dance halts. The violins falter. A single voice, Lord Crown's, pierces the silence. He calls Elias by name. The masks fall one by one, revealing faces of kings, bankers, generals. Lucienne stands frozen, cocked between the world she serves and the man she loves. You wanted truth, Crown says, then look upon it. The circle surrounds them calm as statues carved from gold and sin. And in that radiant stillness, Elias realizes the only way to end them is to expose them, not kill them. Chaos erupts. A gunshot cracks through the chandeliers. Smoke curls through silk and screams. The orchestra flees, the mirrors shatter, and the circle's empire trembles for the first time. Elias vanishes into the storm outside, the ledger pressed against his chest. Behind him, Lucienne collapses, a wound blooming scarlet through her gown. The music returns, not from instruments, but from the echo of destruction. The ball of shadows is over. The war of truth has begun. The world ignites like kindling soaked in oil. Headlines scream of alliances broken, armies marching, cities burning. The circle's plan unfolds with cruel precision. Every bomb, every depth, every death calculated. Elias hides in the ruins of truth, his heart divided between vengeance and despair. From every direction he hears the same words whispered by the dying. They said this war would end all wars. But he knows better. This war was born not of hate but of profit. Among the ruins of a hospital, Elias finds her. Lucienne, pale, but alive. She has seen too much and said too little. It's everywhere, she whispers. The circle funds both sides. The dead are paying their own debts. Her words cut deeper than any wound. She hands him a blood-stained telegram bearing Crown's signature, proof of everything. The bombs outside echo like heartbeats. And in the silence between them, Elias vows to let the world hear the voices buried beneath profit. In London, Friedrich Warn watches the empire he helped build devour itself. His hands tremble as he signs loan extensions for nations already dying. It was supposed to preserve order, he mutters. It was supposed to save us. But the ink runs red, and the ticking clock grows louder. For the first time, the banker prays, not for forgiveness, but for an ending swift enough to silence the guilt. Yet the circle allows no absolution, only dividends. The circle begins to erase its traces. Ledgers burned, witnesses silenced, names rewritten. Elias and Lucienne flee through shattered rail stations, hunted not by soldiers, but by accountants with guns. In their eyes, numbers are lives, and lives are debts to be collected. Yet, for every secret destroyed, another rises in rumor. The circle can kill men, but not truth. Truth moves faster than death, carried by those with nothing left to lose. At last, a moment of fragile hope. Deep beneath Paris, in an abandoned telegraph room, Elias connects wires. With shaking hands, Lucien reads from the ledger. Every transaction, every name, every lie. Across Europe, the signal travels. Voices, truths, proof for a heartbeat. The circle's silence breaks. But before the final word transmits, the door bursts open. Gunfire swallows the truth. Sparks rain down, yet even as the machine dies, the message escapes. Unstoppable, irretrievable, immortal. The broadcast is over, but its echo refuses to die. The city convulses in chaos. Papers flying like ashes, sirens wailing like broken hymns. Elias runs through streets torn by explosions, Lucien close behind, hairbreadth ragged, her wound reopened. The circle's hunters close in. The ledger is gone, but the truth lives on, carried in the words already sent across borders. In that burning maze of ruin and rain, Elias understands that survival is no longer victory. To die seen is to win. Trustees quietly. In the basement of an abandoned printing press, Elias meets the man sent to smuggle them out of France. He brings papers, passports, and a gun. The circle has bought him. Lucien says it before Elias does, and in one desperate heartbeat she takes the bullet meant for him. The sound is small, almost merciful. He catches hair before she falls, her blood staining his hands like ink. She smiles once, whispering, "Now they can't silence both of us." Then she's gone, and silence becomes the loudest sound in the world. In London, Friedrich Varn receives the news of his son's pursuit. For the first time in his life, he defies the circle. He gathers the last records, the hidden accounts, and signs a single page. A confession of the circle's crimes. His trembling hand seals it with his name. "If history must have blood," he whispers, "let it have mine." When the agents arrive, they find his chair empty and the confession gone. Somewhere on the Thames, a small boat drifts away, carrying his final act of penance. Elias is taken at dawn. No trial, no accusation. Just silence and blindfolds. In the circle's hidden compound, he faces Lord Crown across a table of black marble. Crone speaks not with rage, but with admiration. "You reminded the world that we exist," he says. "You gave us immortality." Elias doesn't answer. He knows Crown's empire is already dying, undone not by rebellion, but by revelation. And yet, Crown's calm smile says what words cannot. The circle never dies, it only changes its name. The pen slides across the final page, not by choice but by consequence. Crone signs the surrender document he swore would never exist. Outside, the city shakes with uprisings, the circle's banks are raided, its secrets unearthed. Elias, bruised but alive, watches as the serpent seal melts in the fireplace. Crone's hand trembles for the first time. History, he murmurs, has no loyalty. Elias answers quietly, "Neither does truth." And with that, the age of the circle ends, not in death, but in exposure. Decades later, dust has replaced fire, and silence pretends to be peace. In a quiet university library, a historian uncovers a name. Lon Arazet. Elias Varn. The papers are yellowed, the ink faded, but the numbers still scream. He realizes that the wars his textbooks described as fate were, in truth, transactions. The circle's story was buried, not ended. As the archivist turns the final page, the faint scent of smoke still lingers. History, it seems, does not forgive, it waits. In the sub-basement of a forgotten museum, Holt finds a sealed door marked by the faint outline of a serpent. The lock breaks easily. too easily. Inside waits a room frozen in time. Maps, ledgers, portraits, untouched for a century. Every secret the circle tried to destroy, preserved in silence. He realizes this was no accident. Someone wanted to be found. Someone wanted the story to begin again. Oh, the name on the final document stops his breath. Lucienne Varn. A daughter born in hiding. The bloodline continued. Holt traces the genealogy and finds a living heir. A woman who runs a discreet investment firm, its symbol a faintly modernized serpent. He arranges a meeting, uncertain whether to confront or to learn. Some legacies, he knows, do not end. They adapt. Perhaps the circle will never vanished. Perhaps it simply learned to wear cleaner gloves. She listens, smiling faintly, as Holt recounts everything, the ledgers, the wars, the blood. When he finishes, she walks to the window, looking down at the glowing city below. History, she says softly, was never meant to be destroyed, only managed. Her tone is calm, practiced, chillingly familiar. On her desk, a contract waits, unsigned. Holt feels the same old fear that must have filled Elias' heart a century ago. The circle, reborn, now wears silk instead of masks. Years pass. The world forgets again. Markets rise, wars begin, and somewhere in the digital pulse of the modern age, a new ledger opens. Not of ink and parchment, but of data and algorithms. Elisa's eyes glow faintly in the blue light of her screen as she types the first entry. Somewhere beneath centuries of progress, the whisper returns. Gold turns to blood, and blood turns to profit. History's ice, patient and endless. The circle lives not in secret anymore, but in plain sight.